Sweet, savory, bitter, salty, sour, and umami. Few dishes incorporate all the tastes of the rainbow better than pad thai, a noodle dish that combines multiple proteins and funky flavors into one comforting bite. So to get started, we're going to make our sauce, and that begins with about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of tamarind concentrate. If you can't find this in your local supermarket, go to an Asian specialty store or order it online, but it is definitely a key ingredient. Next up, 3 tablespoons of light brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, and again, that's a key ingredient, so grab it, and a tablespoon and a half of oyster sauce. Give that a mix to combine and set it aside. We'll come back to it later. Next up, I've got 8 ounces of tofu here. This is extra firm tofu, but I'm going to make it extra firm by pressing out as much of the extra water in there as I can. And then we are going to dice this up into 1/2 inch to 1 inch cubes. Something around bite size would be nice. Next up, we'll take a bunch of green onions and chop the greens into 1 to 2 inch long pieces. And then once we get down to the light greens and whites, we will go ahead and finely dice those. This is all prep work. We're going to cook this in a wok over high heat, so we got to get all of our ingredients prepped first. We'll take 1 red bell pepper and julienne that into nice long strips. 1 shallot, halved and sliced across. We'll follow that with 1/4 cup of lightly salted peanuts. Optionally, you can toast those in a skillet over medium heat for a couple of minutes if you'd like. And then we'll go ahead and finally crush those with a knife and set those aside as well. The other protein I'm using here is 1 boneless, skinless chicken breast. You could use shrimp, pork tenderloin, chicken thighs, whatever you do, just make sure you cut it up into small pieces. So here we've got our sauce, our noodles. We'll also use some mung bean sprouts, a lime, a couple eggs. All right, let's get to work. In a wok or a large skillet over high heat, add a tablespoon or so of olive oil, followed by your chicken. Spread that out into a single layer and cook for 3 to 4 minutes or until it's just cooked through. While you're doing that, go ahead and boil your noodles, as you'll see there in the pot behind me. Once your chicken is cooked through, go ahead and get it out of the skillet and set it aside. Add a touch more oil if needed and crack in 2 large eggs. Once they're in there, go ahead and scramble those and cook until they are just cooked through. Whenever your noodles are cooked, you'll drain those and rinse them with cold water and just hold them on the side. We'll get to them here in just a second. All of the exact instructions and ingredients will be down below as well if you want to follow along and make this at home. Remove your eggs once they're cooked. Add in 1 final sploosh of oil, followed by your tofu. Let that saute for a second. Then we can add in our shallots, followed by our bell peppers. We'll cook that, stirring frequently, for 2 to 3 minutes, just until those shallots and peppers start to soften slightly. At which point we will crush in 1 to 2 cloves of garlic. Let that saute briefly, and then we will return our chicken and egg to the party, followed by the scallion greens, those cooked and drained noodles, and all of our sauce. That brown sugar is going to help this to thicken and tighten up, so if you need to add a splash of water to thin things out, you can certainly do that, but at this point, we are just going to stir everything to combine, kill the heat, add in our bean sprouts and all those scallion greens, and about half the peanuts. We'll give everything a nice stir to combine. Again, if it's a little too thick, add a splash of water, and at this point, we're ready to serve it up. Pile those noodles high with plenty of those vegetables, tofu, chicken, and eggs. Give yourself a little extra bean sprouts on the top, and of course, a little extra crushed peanuts. You could add some cilantro, a little hot sauce here, but I'm just going to keep it simple with a lime wedge, and that is some relatively authentic pad thai. No dried shrimp included, but those are even harder to find than the tamarind paste, so we went ahead and skipped them. Those vegetables are still nice and crisp. We didn't overcook them. The noodles are perfectly sauced. That tamarind paste and fish sauce give this a really earthy, funky, slightly sour, but yet still savory flavor. If you've never used fish sauce, I promise you it doesn't taste fishy, it just tastes savory, and you're gonna love it. If you've had pad thai in restaurants and you've always been a little bit scared to make it at home, order the ingredients you can't find at the local supermarket and give this one a shot. I think you're going to enjoy it. Whatever you do, though, just go make something delicious.